talk about everything.
Everything for no reason at all.
And we're live.
Yeah. That is so abrupt.
It's so abrupt, and I didn't want it to be abrupt, but
So
I messed
abrupt.
it up again.
You know what's funny is I like these cold opens.
Yeah.
That was hilarious
Well,
to me.
maybe we should go back to Garrett putting it in because it's more smooth of a transition.
Yeah, because that just like, I don't know, it'd be like, we all be rocking in. It's like,
Damn. We're done.
we're done. What's up, y'all? It's your boy, Icarus Gray.
And it's your homeboy wordplay, TJ.
And this is the No Rhyme or Reason podcast, where we, I don't know, talk about everything.
Everything for no reason at all. And this episode, we're coming to you as late night talk show. Radio show host.
Yeah, it does feel like that a little bit.
We're being a little quiet.
A little quiet.
That's fine, right?
Or silencio.
We're making sure we're not disturbing people. That's
DTP.
cool. As long as you can hear us, we're good.
We're good, and we can always increase the mic level. Miggity mic.
Yeah. I try to
doesn't count.
aim for about -6-ish.
Boom, 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 boom.
I'm wondering what the audio quality sounds like. So be sure to put that in the comments. Let us know how you feel about that.
Oh yeah,
I can go back to audio engineering our sounds one of these days.
I do think it's pretty solid though.
You think so?
Yeah, I don't think we had any issues. And remember the last time we checked the general, we checked it. And
Well, the
won.
thing is, I used to go and mix
Yeah.
our final audio afterwards to make it sound all the way crispy.
But that was when we had 3 different outcomes because you were only getting over the internet audio from me.
Right.
But this in-house stuff, I think I got a little bit.
Yeah.
But we back.
I would turn us up just a little bit.
You remember you turned
hair.
yourself down?
No,
Sure.
The monitoring is fine.
Oh,
The monitoring is fine. So I'm looking at our levels based off of
oh yeah. We're kind of like you just said. We're talking a little bit lower than what we normally would. Mm-hmm. Hey.
So
I love this podcast.
how's it going, folks?
How's it been?
We'd like for you to like, comment, and subscribe to this video if you're watching on YouTube. If you're just listening, be sure to share us with some of your folks. Be sure to give us a review
Yeah.
on your favorite podcast application, and let us know how you.
I don't know what that was. Like it wasn't. I don't know what that was.
I was preparing for my body to make a lot of weird sounds today.
I was not prepared for my body to make that weird sound, and like there was nothing I could do, so I couldn't mute myself because I didn't know that was coming.
Yeah, I'm on the tail end of a sinus little thing. I think people can hear it, but well, now they'll definitely.
Now, I was
hear
going to say if they couldn't before, it has just now been revealed. Spoiler alert.
that sinus thing that I was talking about. We hear that. So be sure to subscribe to the YouTube and follow us on everywhere and things down in the description.
Quick recap from last week. I believe I was right about all of my predictions for the Drake card.
Oh, good. I don't know how to.
You don't have to bring that in. Yeah, I just wanted to remind myself that I was right
Nice.
about majority. I don't know if I picked Geechee though.
Got it.
I have to go back and listen.
Yeah. So if you also watched that, let us know how you felt about that battle, especially in our email. So send us some things, some comments, topics you would like discussed to our email, nrorpodcast@gmail.com. Actually, I do check it. Like it's there.
What is this? See, Sick TJ is a bad boy. He's like,
there. I'm just saying, like, I'm gonna pretend not to check it.
I check it daily.
Yeah.
So send us stuff. We want to interact with you guys and continue building the community for the underdog.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to interact. All right, our first topic, because we're wasting time.
Yeah.
Our first topic is Kanye West did a very lengthy 2 to 3 hour interview with
No
Drink
eyebrows.
Champs. Drink Champs. And that's hosted by Nori and DJ EFN. I like the podcast. It's a little too rowdy for me sometimes. Like, I hate the sounds and all of the, just the sounds and all of that. That's a little annoying to me, but everything else is fine. They hold really good interviews.
I feel like we were podcasting before Drink Champs came.
We definitely were. We were podcasting before a lot of folks, but that's neither here nor there.
Oh, look at them bona fides. Mm-hmm. Talk to us nice.
I don't know. I was doing podcast interviews before we even thought about doing podcasts. Like, shout out to, Hood Tech, or the Hoodcast, sorry. Hoodcast by HU2 Group out in New York City. They're still rolling. They're still doing their thing. So check out that podcast.
That was actually really dope.
Out there, it's called the Hoodcast, and hosted by my homie Willie B. And
Willie Beeman?
no, it's kind of former management group that I was associated with. So anyway. During this interview, one of the big things that I had some contention with, or some of the things that he's talked about in this interview, you didn't listen to it, but I've listened to a majority of it, about more than
Can I
half.
tell the folks why?
I'll after I preface.
All right.
So, he said one thing that truly bothered me, not like in a personal, deep down sort of way, but he said something about Talib Kweli, for one. I don't disagree with him when he said that Common raps better than Talib. But it was just a lot of shade thrown at Talib that I didn't like. And then there was...
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't listen.
To further, like, build on that shade, the thing that we're talking about today is what he said about Big Sean. So he had some comments about Big Sean, and he said basically that he wished that he never signed him. He wished that he never put him on the label, and that's a little disturbing. He's concerned about how Big Sean and John Legend and some other folks within their crew have basically just are not okay with him riding with Trump, simply put.
Mm-hmm.
And do I think that's the right way to move? Not necessarily, but people can choose who they want to mess with. It's not anybody's decision to kind of audit that or judge their behavior. And so that's one of my biggest things and my biggest concerns. Big Sean is excellent as far as a performer is concerned, and people would argue that Big Sean is the most improved as far as rappers is concerned. I don't think that I don't believe that he is any different, or I feel like he's different than he has been in the past, but ultimately the same talent that he displays today is the same talent that he's always had.
That's what I was going to say. I would think that good in and of itself was more of a hindrance to him than a help, because if you go from the first two albums, people felt were too poppy. Like, I liked the first album, but there wasn't the Big Sean flair that we come to love. I think he got that about his third album, which I think was Dark Sky Paradise.
Yeah, right around like I Don't F With You.
Yeah, and that was like the Detroit mixtape and all of that, but because he was able to get back to what he was doing before Kanye, which was the Finally Famous and everything that was going on. He's always been great to me personally, and I think that the biggest issue for me was Kanye hindered all of his artists. And then on top of hindering them and for a lot of times holding them back, and people were asking, where was Tiana's album, Tiana Taylor, where was Pusha's album before Pusha's, My Name Is My Name before they came out, and how long? Like, he has just mishandled everything. Outside of John Legend being John Legend, like, if it wasn't for the fact that he continued to produce, in spite of that, it upsets me a lot because I didn't even know stuff about Talib, because again, I didn't listen because I'm just sick of Kanye in general. There's nothing that comes out of his mouth that I believe in, because at this point he lives in the propaganda. He lives in, I'm going to say these things whether I believe them, whether I don't.
Well, the funny part about living in things, according to him in this whole entire podcast, he lives in a suitcase right now. That's his house. His home is his children, from his own words, but his house, he's just a nomad currently. So here's the thing about this conversation. Like, I agree with Kanye about, I don't know, 75% of the time. Where I disagree is, so he admittedly in this interview says, I don't read much, I don't do math or anything like that, but yet he's pretty
in tune or in.
Just back up.
Yeah.
He's pretty much like, I don't know, eager to voice his point of view. And I get it, right? You don't have to be educated to have a point of view.
You do not.
Because that's just opinion. The concern is when you're making statements as if they're facts, they need to come from a place that is researched, read, and verifiable, and not just verifiable with the few, but verifiable with the many. And so that's a concern of mine, is that people just come out here and take their opinions, form them as facts, and then just put them out there into the world.
I don't even care if he's well read. Just research. Like, with the power and pull that he has, if you don't want to read a book, go talk to somebody.
Yeah,
go talk to the people that are like in the field doing this. Like, I was thinking about this the other day because I was listening to the Dan Le Batard podcast, and he was talking with Billy Corbin, and they had brought a reporter on whose name I can't think of, but they were talking about typically because there's a lot of craziness going on down in Florida, and they were discussing that like with the Florida University, but the University of Florida is what I'm trying to say. Mm-hmm. They were discussing how most times people with degrees will vote Democrat. If you do not have a degree, most times you end up voting Republican.
Right. That's true.
And with that made me like, I sat there and I started thinking for a second, and I started to get upset because I was like, so basically you don't know enough. You don't want to know enough. And therefore you vote for what somebody, like, you then start believing whatever they say at face value.
Yeah. So as an educator, I take the perspective of education helps you not just learn rudimentary facts
Yeah.
about stuff, but education preps you to think critically. So even if
hey, be careful. we can't be
critical thinking.
Oh man.
Even if, say, you don't go to college, that's not the important part.
No.
It's more likely that those that go to college are going to vote more liberal, simply because education allows you to think a little bit more widely and openly. And I've been thinking about this recently. It takes you out of an individualistic perspective. It gives you a point of view of the world versus your point of view locally, which is really, really tiny, really, really minute, especially if you're thinking about your perspective, your point of view, your religion, your race, your this, your that, right? So if you're always centered on you as an individual, it's less likely that you're going to vote with openness. And so that's usually the difference between people that are red and blue. It's closedness versus openness.
Yeah. But overall, the interview was just, from at least the clips that I saw, I can't do this sensational stuff no more. Like, I have to have something substantial, something real. When I come and listen to your interviews, I need to gain something. And I need to gain something that I can take with me and move forward with. And Big Sean didn't deserve that stray, especially not in the middle of an album release. Like, and in his mind, if Big Sean gets more sales or something off of this, he's going to credit himself.
You think Big Sean is going to go back into the studio and make some additions? Or he's probably already has something in the can, quite honestly.
Well, he probably does, because I mean, like I said, him and Hit Boy dropped their album a week ago.
Yeah.
I've listened to a couple of the songs. Like, what's funny with Big Sean at this point, I was listening to one of the song he had with Lil Durk, Bryson Tiller, and somebody else. I can't think of who else was on the song. But anyway, when I was thinking of when I was thinking of the song that he made or whatever, I was like, I had to go and check and make sure him and Miss Aiko was still together. Like, cause Sean sometimes he'll be saying some stuff and you just like, I got to go check. Like, cause y'all
are you
down.
okay?
Like, are y'all all right? Like, did y'all break up? Did y'all remove each other from your Instagrams again?
I mean, it is what it is. It's their relationship. So
all in all, like, well, that ties to whether or not, like, okay, so when we were talking about Adele, or not Adele, Kanye, we were talking about the album prior to it coming out, and I was telling you, when you're in a certain relationship state, I just got to keep my hands away from the mic because I'm fine where I'm.
We hold on. So Trinaire and I were talking about how like your hands move a lot.
Yes.
When you're talking, and like I was just like, oh, I never put the two and two together.
Yeah. That
it's because of the hands.
Yeah.
That the mic gets smacked up.
Yeah. It's because I talk with my hands.
Right.
It's I don't know if it's a rapper thing or if it's just a black man raised by black women thing.
It's probably that.
Or just a black man thing, because I don't want to like single that out because there's a lot of dudes that talk with their hands.
True.
But anyway,
especially in the South.
The point being, dude is a dope artist. I'm sick of Kanye. Next topic.
It's just like, I'm over it.
I'm over it, man.
So
still over it. Shout out to Summer Walker's album, which is apparently causing a whole lot of controversy.
That's fine.
But anyway, what we got next?
The Great Resignation. I don't know if you've heard much about this, but basically people aren't going back to work in droves, and part of those droves, anyway. Those droves, I wanted to really understand like who wasn't going back to work, And so I looked it up, and with a better understanding, this comes from the Harvard Business Review. Mid-career employees, so those between the ages of 30 and 45, are basically having a revelation period right now. And they're realizing that the workforce doesn't work for them. And most of these folks are also in tech and healthcare. Healthcare, super important because it's been a big deal as a part of this pandemic. And people in healthcare industries have been stretched to their thinnest.
Absolute thinnest.
And in tech, I think it's mostly because you can do tech from anywhere.
From anywhere.
And so, people are realizing.
And people need you, so somebody that works in tech can start their own, business in a way of, I can fix your computer from here.
Yeah. But I was thinking about the salaries of these folks because a big conundrum when thinking about conundrum. I play the conundrum. Anyway.
I'm focused, man.
A big part of the big conundrum is folks are concerned that people are resigning, but they're not able to really pay their bills. So my question has always been, who's doing it? And so when I found this information, I was just like, oh, that makes sense. These people are paid very well. They have the savings or the money set aside to where they can actually do this. Healthcare workers make pretty close to six figures, if not six figures, after a lengthy career.
And especially, right now, the biggest, one of the biggest things that I've seen, because our apartment building that we moved from back in Arkansas was transformed into like a apartment for traveling nurses.
Yeah.
And they're getting buku money because they have to be brought in to help with different situations and be close to the hospitals that they are going to be working at.
Right. So even if their base salary isn't six figures, they could probably work enough overtime to make that. No,
they are getting in a week enough to like cover their rent.
Wow.
And then, here's what they want. So when we were leaving, we were learning, somebody was touring our apartment, and they came to tour, and he was explaining to her, well, hey, we're going to be doing this, doing this, doing this, doing this. And I was like, huh? I was like, we didn't get any of that. So it's going to be fully furnished. They're like redoing the walls and putting in TVs and furniture and all this other stuff, because they just want to be able to come in and not have to spend any extra money, which takes it from what we were paying to like $1,500 or something a month.
That's a lot for Arkansas.
Yeah. Which for what we pay here. Yeah.
That's here prices.
Yeah.
And here prices in Arkansas could get you damn near a mansion apartment.
Basically. You definitely getting more than one bedroom. But there's a huge drove. And also, I'm also one of those people.
Yeah.
Who's not currently rushing back to the workforce. Now, granted, I'm working for myself and trying to build stuff for myself. But the reason is, much like everybody else, you realized last year, so many people realized how unimportant we are to those who employ us.
Yeah.
They take us for granted in a lot of different ways. You are expendable. You are in a system that was meant for car distribution. That has been meant for car distribution. We go through education systems that were meant for factory distribution.
Got it.
And to
still hear that.
Just a little bit. It's fine. But to further articulate my point, you learned that more last year. Like when people were given the stimulus checks at any point, it made the realization, okay, I have a moment to breathe. I haven't had a moment to breathe in years.
Yeah.
I haven't had a moment to look around. I'm not spending extra money on going out or doing whatever. I might be spending extra money like on food, but I'm not spending extra money on all of these other things. So now I get to take a personal look at my life. If you were working in the medical field, they didn't get to do that a lot of ways. There were so many overtime things. Tech people, same difference. Like, you had been telling whoever your supervisor was, like, hey, I could probably work from home. That would save this, and trying to get raises and everything else. I was talking with my sister-in-law the other day about, she said her HR person was able to work from home for a job that she used to be at. And I was kind of explaining to her, I said, well, the reason is she knew what to ask for, because she couldn't understand like why that was okay. Because even the CEO was there every day.
Yeah.
And I said, the difference is in all of this is the power that you learn that you have, because so many jobs will hire you on. Like when the district, as I stumble over everything, that was so weird.
I'm focused, man.
But when the district hired you, you've always been a person who knows what to ask for. There was not a time where they were going to be able to play you to the left and be like, yeah, just come in. We just need you to, you'll go and you'll take some classes and that'll do this and that'll do that. No, you've always been a control your destiny type of person.
Right.
Most employees are not that, because we give an expectation of loyalty because of our loyalty. And most places just take advantage of that, especially last year. Like the health folks were worked to the bone. The food industry was worked to the bone. I did not stop working. There wasn't outside of like when I caught COVID myself, when I had to, just take time off that I took off.
Right. Retail couldn't take time off.
Right. There was no respect. And the fact that it's like, we're out here. I even had instances at my former job where they didn't want to put up signs about masks because they didn't want to be the mask Nazis. Because they didn't like.
It's so funny for them to compare themselves to Nazis when it comes to a mask.
Bruh.
That's so stupid.
And it was like, what do you mean? I'm immunocompromised. That doesn't make sense that you're inviting this to me. Right. When the studies show, like, I should not be put in that position. Or no one should. But I think that that's the big drive between those people who are 30 and 45 is I'm at a time in my life where you're trying to get a house. I'm trying to move. And being able to move up here and do all the things that I did was only because of two things. One, because she was able to, Kanae was able to get a good paying job up here.
Yeah.
But then two, because I was just tired. And like, I had been working since I was 19, which is not as long as you were working.
Yeah.
But, 18-ish. And technically I work in high school, whatever. But anyway, for straight years since I got my last job, I've just been working for about 13 years. No, not really taking off a lot outside of, going on trips and stuff. But I was uber dependable guy. Mm-hmm. If I'm here, I'm going to be here. The only time I'm not going to be here is if I'm going on vacation. And I told you 6 months in advance about my vacation because I want you to be prepared. I was that kind of employee. But I got to a place where they wanted you to say everything. And if you didn't say anything, then they were just going to tell you what you weren't and put you inside of a box. And a box that they don't care about, because I don't have to like give you more money unless you ain't asking for it, because there's already systems in place for you to get extra money.
Yeah.
And in these jobs, and it's commission-based jobs that I think I hate the worst, because while there is a level of you're able to build and create for yourself, there's more of a level of I don't have to set a standard of pay that is comparable to your life.
Yeah, and I think that's a big thing. Wages have not caught up.
No.
Right.
And they never will, because anytime there is a pay increase, the legality of it, of the bills and how they go about creating them is so we go up to $11 in Arkansas, right? We just now reached that last year because every year they would go up $1 because they wanted to give the businesses a chance to adjust. What sense does that make?
The businesses should be able to adjust no matter what, right? That's the thing, is that businesses have the wrong priorities in place, right? Their priorities aren't their people. Their priorities are the bottom line, the shareholders, and those individuals that make the most within the company. And my personal opinion is that those that make the most should be able to sacrifice for the bottom line first.
Should be able to, but that's my big take is if you are in that range or if you're not in that range, because there are still people outside of the calculated numbers, that's just where the most are. I would say to you, take your power, understand who you are. I ain't telling you, like, I used to be very, very, very adamantly against TJ's call to, like, if you going after your dreams, quit. Because I was like, no, don't do that. Like, stay, save your money. Like, I'm not saying burn bridges. Please understand.
Right.
But I am saying whoever you are, however old you are, take hold of your destiny. Yeah. Because right now is the time to do it. Like, if you want to go and get a job, it's jobs everywhere.
I'm not in the same place where I'm just apt to say quit. Quit means something different right now, right, for me. Quit means go find something that's flexible enough to where you can balance.
Are we switching
your
now?
Dreams? No. It's just I want to. When I was thinking about that at that time,
yeah,
quit meant leave, and quit also meant jump. Right, yeah. You're on the ledge. You have your parachute. Jump.
Right. No, this is what I'm saying. We are switching because that's where I was.
Yeah.
Is where you're saying you are now. Is like, because I was like, no, don't do that. Like, give, work with, find something, flex your time. It's like, no, because then what you're going to do is you're going to I just feel like you're like sage, because I feel like at that sage is in like wisdom, not sage still. We don't do that.
Well, I don't want to come off as confused or conflicting in my point of view. I just want to make it clear, right? Mm-hmm. I still mean jump. I still mean jump with the plan. But if you don't have the mindset to really go all in, mm-hmm, then don't. It's conditional, right? If you don't have the mindset to go all in, don't just quit cold turkey.
Yeah.
Find something else to balance that out. And I would argue that most people aren't ready to quit.
No, most people, especially now, I think more people are ready now. Like, I feel like if we did those episodes now, people would just be jumping out the window.
Yes. And this is something that I this moment is something that I've been talking about for years.
Yeah, because and this is why I'm saying, like, you're just such I don't like to use psychic, but your foresight is crazy.
It is crazy. Because
most of what you were saying was because you knew the importance.
Yeah.
You knew the importance of self-actualization, of what you desire. If that job ain't being sufficient to you, find somewhere else. Like, especially now, there are so many jobs that you don't have to be stuck feeling like you can't grow.
Yeah.
You just don't. So
yeah. I've noticed that one of my gifts is being like 2 or 3 years, if not a little bit more, ahead of
the curve.
The curve, yeah.
Because we was definitely ahead of the podcast curve.
So, yeah, don't want to bum people out, and also I want to kind of keep the show rolling so we can wrap and do some other things today. Let's get into it.
Hey guys, it's your host Icarus Gray, and we're tuned in for another episode of Whether or Not Wordplay TJ Can Guess the Anime Plot. How you guys doing today? You doing all right? How's your mom?
Great.
You're muted.
I am muted. She's great.
What do you do?
I make music for the underdog.
Music for the underdog. That would have been a great Patreon transition.
Right.
But anyway, so today you got your picture. The name of the anime is ReZero.
Oh.
ReZero, starting life in another world.
Okay. So I'm lucky enough that we in other conversations we talked about this a little bit. But I have no idea what we talked about.
That's why I was like, yep, I knew it. I knew this was perfect because I was like, I know we've had recent conversations, but I'm still going to be able to get a good thought. And I was able to, this is the first time where I picked something that's like a meaty picture.
Yeah. So I'm going to start by describing what I see and try to talk my way to the plot. I've never seen this picture before. I don't know shit about this anime, so let's go ahead and jump into it. So ReZero is the name. Got that. Sub-Zero comes to mind when I don't know what about Sub-Zero. Wait, maybe this is cold-blooded. Maybe
I see what you're doing there.
You see?
I like that.
And so I see a bunch of bodies in the background. I see angry guy in front of me. His hair is kind of blown back to the wind, so maybe he's come up to the camera. He's damaged all of these people somehow. And his name is either Kai or Bruce. One of those. Can't figure out which one. But I'm gonna assume like his name is Kai or Bruce. And what Bruce has done here is said, "Come at me, bro." And they came at him, and then they did not do so well. And from what I can see, there's guys and girls in that pile of people.
So equal opportunity
Right.
hands being dealt.
Yeah, he gave out some equal opportunity ass whoopings here.
Okay. Is that your guess?
I gotta think about the plot, right? The whole plot of the series.
Yeah, so what's the
Right.
reason he laid the people down?
So the plot of the series is that ReZero, so re means to do again. Zero means zero, of course, nothing. So how do you have nothing again, right? Somebody took something from him, and now he wants it back. That's the plot, and he's getting it back by any means necessary. Good job, Bruce.
Well,
Yeah, right.
wrong on the name, but your general guess of the plot, that's right. By you don't need anything extra in terms of like the general plot of the entire story is exactly what you said.
What's Bruce's name?
It's Natsuki Subaru.
I like Bruce better.
I figured you did. But Subaru is a kid who
Subaru.
I mean, it's actually a name, you know, like so Subaru and then
Nakasaki
like
Subaru.
Nakasaki.
Kawasaki Subaru.
Yo, that's wild.
Mitsubishi Subaru.
I feel like you're doing a thing,
I am doing a thing.
and the thing you're doing is listen. Don't cancel us. Here we go. So the actual plot of this is Natsuki Subaru is basically a shut-in or a NEET is what they call it. He has not
He's
been
like me.
Basically, he has not been to school in years. Well, technically, you finished all your schooling. Like he's not socially interactive at all. He goes to the corner store one day, and then he blinks his eyes, and he is in a completely new world. That's the ReZero starting life in another world. So he goes to this new world. He meets this girl. She's lost something. He tries to help her get it back. Long story short, they go somewhere. He ends up dying. Him and the girl and everybody else that was in this current vicinity. Mm-hmm. He then, as he's dying, blinks, and he is back at starting where he started in this market or whatever, where he met the girl. So he's like,
so that's the return part.
Mm-hmm. And starting from zero. So he's starting from that general point. And then if you've seen like Happy Death Day, or at least know the premise of it, I feel like they stole it from ReZero. So every
that
time,
movie, that stupid like Groundhog Day movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
So basically, take that and make it good is what ReZero is. Because every time he dies, he returns to a certain point. And like you said, he's angry, does not want to lose the people that are important to him that he comes to know in this world. And he does everything in his power by any means necessary to get those people to stay alive, to get back the things that people have taken from him in this world. And the things that get taken are like his friends or something like that. So
dope.
You did like that was amazing for zero knowledge.
Cue the music.
I gotta give it to you.
Thanks.
For the first time on whether or not TJ can guess wordplay. TJ can guess the anime plot. He got.
I got it.
He got it.
Nice.
Now
I need like $10,000. Is that the
We're working
price?
on it. Well, I mean, at least you got over 10K subscriber. All right, bro.
Good luck with that, bruh.
But we're over 10K subscribers, so keep subscribing.
All right. So our main topic for today. I haven't talked about this with you, but
no, I saw it, and then I saw the picture, and I was like, "Oh, I'm sick of this."
Yeah.
I'm sick of everything today.
I'm a little interested in the conversation around what is the new definition of marriage, and how do people see it? Like Will and Jada have been in the news for weeks now.
Jesus Christ.
About their marriage situation. Will has a new memoir out, and is interviewing with Oprah and a bunch of other people, putting out YouTube videos and all these other stuff, and just he's doing a lot of media push
for King Richard.
Yeah, for that, he has a new YouTube series or not a series, but a documentary coming out. Mm-hmm. He has his new book that's out. His company they're trying to sell the production company Overbrook. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, he's out here moving.
Right. And so Jada stays in the news because of Red Table Talk and other conversations and stuff like that. And so ultimately I wanted to know, like, what does marriage kind of mean today? And then, just kind of thinking about, just an overall definition of that. I wanted to start off with some statistics. Folks that are never married is now on the rise. This comes from the Census Bureau as of the last census that we had, not last year, but in 2016. And according to 2016, folks that are 25 to 29, about 70% have never been married of men. About 60% of women have never been married in that age group. And then if you start going up, you'll see that 50% of over 40% of men have never been married. That's ages 30 to 34. And then women that have never been married as of 2016 is slightly under 40%. That are 30 to 34. And as you go up in age, folks definitely have been married. So I don't even think they count.
Not really. So first things first, I hate this reissuing of what marriage is, like this definition thing, right? Reason I hate it is because it often sets a false standard, and a bit of a false narrative. So, by all accounts, the fact that you have to get, things signed and do all this other stuff, marriage by general practice is a business by American standards and by most standards in other places.
Yeah, it's a contract.
But the earnesty of marriage and what marriage truly is something that a lot of people miss, because they've created a fantasy in their brain. They've created something that either doesn't exist, they're not capable of doing because they only see it from one perspective, and they don't understand the joint things that you have to do as a couple, as a married couple. So,
what do you mean by that? Elaborate.
So,
because we're a podcast.
True that. The joint things that you have to do as a couple, or that you have to think about, is, okay, so if I don't want kids but you do, how do we mitigate that? If you want to work and I don't want to work, how do we mitigate that? These are all the things that we have to address between us. There is no standard for that. They try to create one. They try to tell you that there's one. They try to tell you that, and that would be more of a new definition to me, is the awakening of the fact that your marriage is your marriage. And so often, and the bigger thing is, you don't have to get married.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. The numbers thing, like, these numbers in terms of people that have never been married are about as bad as like when they give out the divorce rate numbers.
Yeah. So I have a different take on that, right? And I think ultimately, kind of marriage is an agreement between two people, regardless if you have the paperwork or not, because that's not what I'm getting at.
Yes,
it's agreement between two people to make sure that they know that they're going to come together, be together, raise a family, perhaps, or at least become a family of two, right? At that point, and they're gonna, in a lot of ways, share the load, not share everything, so to speak, right? Not necessarily everything's going to be 50-50 down the middle, that type of thing. But ultimately, folks they're going to get together in order to kind of balance out different roles and responsibilities.
Right.
That's my perspective on it. And also from my perspective, like, I got married because I just felt that was like Trinera is the right person for me.
Yeah.
Bottom line. And it wasn't that I thought deeply about it or needed to kind of mull it over or, kind of bounce ideas off of other people. It was just, no, this is the right person. This is the right circumstance. And I want to make it happen. So I want to make this a thing. My concern is that when it comes to the overall, well, I don't really care what other people do when it comes to marriage. It's not my business. In fact, like Will and Jada, none of my business. Right, none of my business, none of like, any of our businesses. But we're way into their stuff, so much so that it doesn't even matter. Why are we into this so much?
I don't know. I just wish they would stop talking about it, because the thing that happened is, like, we went from knowing nothing and just seeing them to they want to share everything. What you thought was perfect, it wasn't. We haven't enjoyed our sex.
But that means that somebody has an idea of what a perfect marriage is.
Right. But either way, that's what they allowed to happen. And now it's just like they want to like clear it up when you didn't have to clear nothing up, you know, and it's clearing it up for the sensationalism of it. To me, I don't find there's growth and maturity, but they've been grown for a minute. They've gone through things for a minute. There were people that were having conversations about their quote unquote open marriage and stuff for years before they said anything, you know. So I'm more upset currently and when I see it, like, it's not none of my business, but at this point y'all are talking way too much about it, because the entirety of the way people view marriage is already in a poor place to me, because it should be your marriage is your marriage, just like you said. But so often people look at your marriage, or they'll look at my marriage, or they'll look at whoever's marriage and try and make a guesstimation of, this is what I want to have. And it's like, this probably ain't gonna work for you, bruh. This was for me. This was tailored for my decisions and what I need.
Yeah. I think the problem is that we're fed some information about what a marriage actually is. Yeah. Whether it be through movies, television, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Folks get into this fairy tale ideal, and it's never that. No. It's never that. And there are going to be times where you're not the best of friends. There's going to be times where you disagree on many different things. And that's just a part of the journey. And ultimately people get divorced, I believe anyway, is because they didn't realize what they were getting into.
No. And the other aspect of it is we've been taught poor communication skills from Jump Street, right? I was just talking about this the other day, and in what I was mentioning about people going into the workplace. If you don't even know how to ask what it is, ask for your worth at a job, there's almost no way you're going to be able to ask for what you need in a marriage or in a relationship. So you can't even create an expectation that is closer to what is reality, because you won't even talk about it. So that is the catch-22 of why I halfway appreciate them talking about it, but I'm also sick of them talking about it. Yeah. Because they're only at this point seeming to highlight the worst things. And then people look and it's
what are the worst things?
So to me at this point, there's this honesty in terms of these past couple of years, right? So August Alsina comes out and reveals that him and Jada had a whole relationship. And initially, because no one knew anything, we're like, dang, Jada, that's crazy. You cheated on Will. So then when they talk, it's like, well, you know, we were separate. Like we weren't really together. We were like on the verge of divorce. Okay. That's fine, I guess. But y'all seem to be really cool. Like, on top of everything, y'all were really cool with bruh. Like, that was also another weird thing, right? And so then it just keeps getting to these places where you're revealing all the negative things. Like, was there anything good about y'all's marriage at this point? Like, you know, Will's inferiority complex with Jada in terms of her and Pac's relationship. That being a talking point. And a lot of times I know people can use these things for their betterment. But at the same time, it's like, bruh, like it's so toxic. It just feels toxic. And I don't know if that's just me outside looking in or whatever, but it feels like this toxic example that because people can't separate the art from the artist kind of thing, this marriage ends up being the example for all marriages, which is why I'm saying, like, I have such an issue with them only talking about the bad things that have happened. And maybe they talk more about good things that they've done or whatever. But these past couple of years, the headlines are always something that is bananas. And I just wanted to be more realistic in terms of how we talk about marriage, how we talk about the fact that if it's not for you, that's cool. Like, no one should make you feel like that's the end all be all, that the final boss has to be marriage. No one should make you feel that way. But if you're going to try and walk down that road, we need to be more supportive and more honest about what it is. We need to be honest about the fact that compromise looks different in each and every relationship, period. You need to talk about the things that you expect, and even your expectations are going to change, because today you might want to work for the next 5 years until retirement, until getting whatever, right? But
5?
I mean, I'm just saying, I'm just random number.
Oh, okay.
But if something happens to you next year, say within the school district, they do something that you just clearly do not agree with, you know, and you get a new perspective, the same way we were talking about the jobs and stuff, right? You might decide to quit and leave. Now, that doesn't take away from like any retirement plans, because you plan in a way that allows you to keep stuff. But maybe you need to use that money for something else. That's marriage, because things just change, because life happens. The expectations grow and evolve, and things that you did not think that you would do, you may end up doing. And that's not to say that it's all negative, or it's all in these midlife crisis type modes. But people have to understand that marriage is a type of revolving door.
Yeah.
Like, the things that come into your life, like one kid can change your life. You may want 3, you may want 4. But if you have a child, and say your child has some sort of medical issue, it doesn't really matter. Like, that can change your perspective on having kids. And for somebody who may have wanted 5 kids, and now you're down to 1, how can you deal with these changes and these expectations if you never knew that plans have to change? Because life changes and experience changes you, basically.
I don't have anything else to say.
I figured, I was like, the big thing is, and I think we're prime examples of it, your marriage is going to be unique. All marriages are unique. No matter how similar or how many similar characteristics there are, they are all unique.
Yeah. And you don't have to rush it. You don't have to worry too much about it.
No.
Everybody, we appreciate you listening for this hour-long conversation. Go ahead and join the Patreon. There's a bunch of different exclusive things in all of our tiers. You can see those things up on the screen now. And it's a very great idea to participate in this, be a part of the Underdogs. There's different things for different folks. And yeah, I'll leave it at that.
Subscribe and hit the like button.
Overtime.
We need it. We ain't got no overtime today. You get overtime once a month.
There's no intro either.
And but yeah, we enjoy doing this for you guys every week. There's a smack event tonight, so there's more battle rap going on. I'll give predictions and all that next time. The event will have already happened, so I'm gonna like predict, and then I'm gonna predict perfectly, like I've gone in the Back to the Future is what I'm thinking. I'm Biff.
Biff? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna win all the things.
Oh,
Build my empire off of gambling bets.
Oh, my gosh.
But anyway, we love you guys. We appreciate you for joining us and staying with us for this hour. And we'll see you next week.
Peace.
Peace.